There's something quite magical about a good co-op space game, isn't there? The kind where you and a few mates are stuck together in a fragile tin can, somehow keeping it flying while the universe throws everything it's got at you. For me, that tension, the chaos, the laughter, the little victories is what makes this genre so special. Hello everyone, Tom here from LT Gaming. Back in February this year, we previewed a promising title called Jump Ship. Since then, a lot has happened, including a new name. Thanks to a trademark hiccup, the devs have rechristened it Jump Space, and to be honest, I think this one fits perfectly. As the team themselves have put it, Jump Space better represents the expanse of the game's potential, and it certainly feels bigger than just the ship you're flying. The game is coming to early access in Q3 this year, with a full release date and fresh trailer to be unveiled at Gamescom later this month. So in this video we're going to dive into what's changed since our last hands-on preview, how the demos performed during Next Fest, and why this might just be one of the most exciting co-op releases on the horizon. And if you enjoy this kind of gaming content, this is where I ask to give the video a like if you want to help us out on the YouTube algorithm, subscribe if you watched the video and you feel I've earned it, and if you really want to support the channel, consider joining as a member. All this support helps us keep the lights on here at LT Gaming and keep bringing you more gaming content like this video. So what exactly is Jump Space? At its heart, it's a mission-based co-op FPS for up to 4 players, where you and your friends become the crew of your very own spaceship. Each run has you picking a mission, jumping through sectors, and maybe landing on some forsaken rock or derelict station, and then hopefully making it back out again with your loot all in one piece. The real magic here is going to be how it flows together. One moment you'll be sat calmly on the bridge weaving your way through an asteroid field, the next you'll be clipping on your jetpack and floating out of the airlock for a proper zero-G battle, and before you caught your breath, boom, boots on the ground, blasters in hand, fighting your way through corridors. Teamwork is going to be the lifeblood here. Every mission is about keeping the ship alive long enough to make it to the next jump, while scavenging weapons, blueprints and resources along the way. And there's going to be no rigid classes telling you what you can and can't do. If your mate fancies piloting while you're down in engineering fixing breaches, go for it. And if things are going sideways, you might all rush outside, grapple onto the enemy freighter and kick the door in together. It's going to be messy, frantic, and that's what will make it brilliant. Between missions, you're back at the hangar, tinkering away on your ship, reinforcing the shields, souping up the engines or bolting on more turrets. It's entirely up to you. Runs will earn you materials to make the next one maybe a little bit easier. There's a subtle roguelike flavour throughout the game, which I really connect with. And one of the best things about the game is they've scaled it to work with a crew of 4, or whether you want to just play solo. So if you're in a Chaos for Saturday night co-op session with some friends, or just a quieter run by yourself, Jump Space will have you covered. Back in February, Luke and I had the chance to jump into an early build of Jump Ship, as it was still called back then, and it turned into one of the most memorable co-op sessions we've had in a long while. Our mission was pretty clear: to board a massive cargo freighter, simple on paper, but of course nothing turns out that way when you're gaming. But before any of that, we were immediately distracted by some of the quirky extras the devs had hidden aboard. Things like cooking your own pizza, or cracking open a beer, or even a working boombox. It sets the tone right away. It really set the tone for us straight away. This wasn't just a sterile gunship. Then the game hit us with visuals. We kicked off by jumping into an asteroid belt, right into a scrap with enemy corvettes. The fighting was bruising, proper white knuckle stuff. I remember drifting helplessly out in space, cut off from our ship, and somehow managing to down an enemy aircraft with a rocket launcher. Chaotic, absolutely brilliant fun, without a doubt. Our next jump was to a desolate planetoid where one of the devs took over the pilot's seat and expertly weaved us through a hollowed out asteroid to avoid the swarm of enemies outside. The tension was really immense, and this stealthy approach just showcased how many different ways you can handle missions. Of course, shortly after we binned the stealth utterly and went loud. Mines exploding off the hull, guns hammering, Luke juggled the pilot's seat while I jumped outside. I somehow ended up grappling onto an enemy hull and trying to take it down manually. Was it disorientating? Yes. Ridiculous? Utterly. But moments like this are why these games shine. Jetpacking combat in open space is just a hell of a lot of fun. The climax of the mission came when we finally breached the freighter itself. The sheer scale of the ship actually blew me away. Once on board, the gameplay shifted gears into full FPS mayhem. The goal was to nab some cargo and get out, but things escalated pretty fast. We were swarmed by drones and robots as the game's so-called AI director ramped up intensity on the fly, very much in the spirit of Left 4 Dead. It was relentless, and I admit I went down a few times, but battered and bruised we made a mad dash and grabbed the final objective and somehow made it back to base in one piece. Luke and I came out of this session saying the same thing. This is some of the best co-op fun we've had in years. The blend of strategy, action and sheer cheeky chaos was exactly what makes Jump Space stand out. And best of all, throughout the playtest we had the devs on comms answering our burning questions as we went. From design choices and ship systems to those Easter eggs like pizza ovens and beer fridges, it gave us a great sense of the vision behind the game. So what has happened since that playtest? Well, Jump Space has gone properly public. The demo dropped during the Steam Next Fest in June and it absolutely took off. Over 500,000 players jumped in and it made it one of the top 3 most played demos of the entire fest. And that's not just impressive, that's genre-defining interest for a brand new co-op title. And the momentum didn't stop there. The game now sits at over 1 million wishlists on Steam. For a small studio working on their first big release, that is immense. It means day one of early access is likely to have a thriving player base, and it's the kind of buzz that can carry a co-op game for months and months, maybe even years. The community response has been just as telling. Forums, discords and streams have been full of people sharing their "did you see that" moments. Whether it was a last second spacewalk repair or the entire crew drifting in zero-G chaos, it's the kind of organic chatter that's absolute gold, and it shows that Jump Space has already hit that sweet spot of fun and unpredictability. Since our last hands-on back in Feb, Jump Space has come a long way. Of course there's the new name, but beyond the logo there's been plenty of meaningful updates under the hood. One of the most requested features and something we spoke about when we talked with the devs was the ability to play solo. Devs admitted to us they were surprised at the appetite that players had for this option, so they've been working on an AI crewmate system called BuddyBot, designed to cover roles when you're on your own. In future builds, this helper will be able to man turrets, patch up damage, and even revive you if you go down. It's not quite there yet, but it's high on the early access roadmap, and it should make lone wolf runs far more viable. Mission variety has also been a focus. Early builds leaned heavily on space skirmishes and basic boarding actions, but the team have confirmed that more biomes and handcrafted scenarios are coming. Expect missions where the challenge isn't just enemies but survival itself. Asteroid showers, system malfunctions, environmental hazards, and it will make each jump feel distinct and unpredictable. And then there's been a lot of little touches. The devs have said they want the ship to feel like a second home, so expect more persistent decorations and fun items. Think music players, trophies and plants that you can actually keep aboard between runs. This obviously isn't mission critical, but it adds flavour and it's exactly the kind of immersion that makes co-op games like this very memorable. All told, it's clear Keepsake Games are listening. They've been very upfront that the early access is just the start, with more ships, gear, mission types and polish on the horizon. So why are we so excited about Jump Ship? Well, it's nailing something that most co-op games never quite manage: controlled chaos. One moment you're piloting through an asteroid belt, the next you're putting out a fire in engineering, or your mate's out the airlock patching a hole. And then suddenly you're all jetpacking across to board a freighter. It's messy, unpredictable and utterly brilliant. The game also has that elusive one more run quality. Missions aren't scripted to death, they've got random elements and modifiers baked in. No two jumps are going to play the same. We're reassured also by the sheer scale of interest. Over 1 million wishlists and 500,000 demo players means this isn't some niche experiment. There's going to be a healthy player base from day one to keep the lobbies alive. And finally, let's be honest, it's just fun. Pure, silly, grin on your face fun. From rocket launcher antics in zero-G to maybe cooking a pizza mid-mission. Jump Space is going to blend intensity with charm in a way few games manage. So drawing all this together for you LT gamers, Jump Space is shaping up to be something genuinely special. It's got co-op chaos, it's got strategic depth, and just enough humour baked in to make missions very memorable. Our early playtest to the huge successes of the recent demo, everything is pointing to a game with some serious legs. with the game arriving in early access later this summer. Plus there's going to be a big reveal at Gamescom. The wait is nearly over with this one. But I'd love to hear what you guys think about this game. Which role are you looking forward to taking on? Or are you the one that abandons the ship mid-battle with your rocket launcher in hand? Let me know down below. If you've enjoyed this video, it would mean a lot to us if you give the video a like, help us get out there in that YouTube space. Subscribe to the channel and maybe even join as a member if you fancy supporting us in the ultimate way. Alright, that's it from me. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye bye now.